Here's a rapid fire of all the books on my February TBR. We're going to start off the month with the Throne of Glass series. I've taken a poll from one of my last videos, and the consensus says that I should start with Assassin's Blade. So I'm going to start with Assassin's Blade only because it makes the most sense in my brain. If I go there, then I need to move on to Throne of Glass second. These are the first two books on my February TBR. As per usual, just as I did with ACOTAR, I am going into these books completely blind. I don't know what it's about. I'm not going to read what it's about. I want to be surprised and I want to love it on my own without having any thoughts ahead of time of what it's going to be about. I'm going to move on to Flawless, which is book one in the Chestnut Springs series, which is also on my 2026 TBR, just as the Throne of Glass series is. A small town, forced proximity, enemies to lovers, one bed kind of trope. We're going to switch it up a bit all over the place this month. I believe that Throne of Glass is more fantasy based and not so much romantasy based. I want to go back to the romantasy world. We're going to go with The Coven by Harper L. Woods. This is kind of a dark academia, witchy, vampire romantasy. So I'm really, really looking forward to reading this book. And she's pretty thin. We should get through her pretty fast. Sticking to the theme of my vampire dark kind of romance, we're going to read King of Battle and Blood by Scarlett St. Clair. I've been looking forward to reading that. I have a thing with vampires and dark romance. Like, I just love it so much. We're going back to my 2026 TBR, and I'm going to do a reread of Credence. Now, hear me out. I have read this already. This was actually the first dark, forbidden, super sexy romance that I read when I first got back into my reading journey. I want to see if my feelings are still the same about this book. I absolutely ate it up. Call me depraved, call me demented, all you want, but I loved this book and I want to see if I still feel the same way. So we're doing a reread of Credence. Now we're moving on to the books that I don't physically have, but this one is in my cart because I need to add to the first book in the series. It's book 2 in the Soldiers of Bedlam, Dove, and it's by Paisley Hope. The first book is Wolf.E, and we know how I feel about that. But I think from what I hear, it is a prequel to Wolf. I'm buying it today because I want to read it. I know that it's a forced proximity. Of course, it's the motorcycle club. I'm not sure of the other tropes. I want to go in blind because I loved Wolf.E so much that I don't know what to do with myself. Let's move on. Of course, I'm going to go right to Capri, which is season 3 in the Delgado family series. There are 6 books in the series. There are not 6 whole books. There's a lot of halves. There's 1, there's 1.5, there's 2, there's 2.5, there's 3. They're all very small. I'm not going to count Capri as 6 books. I'm going to count Capri as this series, pretty much 2 or 3 books. That's really what it is when you break down the page number. So I don't know. We got to go to her because she is the sister of Capadonna and Capone, and it is only natural that I would go there. I am on the last book in the Capadonna series. Moving on. Next book that I don't physically have, but I've already downloaded on my Kindle is Depraved Devotion by Morgan Bridges. It's book 1 in the Villain and Vices series. I just read just now that it's going to end on a cliffhanger. So, until I find out when the second book is coming out, I may not read it, but it's on my list. If you've read Once You're Mine and Now You're Mine by Morgan Bridges, you know what kind of book she writes. This is a stalker type romance. I think it is a psychopath prison and nurse type of thing. But I might be totally lying to you. I think that is the gist of it. Last but certainly, absolutely and completely not least, I need to finish with The Syndicator. It is the last book in the Darkverse series. It is book 6. I've read all 5 books. This is a god tier series for me. All of the books I rated 5 stars except for the first, The Predator, was 4.75 because I discovered that I liked the other ones a little bit more. It didn't mean that it wasn't good at all. This is The Syndicator. This is the finale. The final pieces are supposed to come together, and I believe that all of the couples are in this book. Absolutely needs to be read because I need to finish this out and check it off my list because I've been putting it off. I just didn't want the world to end, and now it must be done. Those are all of the books on my February 2026 TBR. With that said, I am done. Happy reading. I will see you guys tomorrow. Maybe I have to work all weekend, so that's why I'm doing this now. I need to do my reading wrap up for January actually, but that may not happen until next week. Happy reading.